Hi and welcome to video number 4. Now in this video what we're going to cover are mainly two different things. The first one is going to be the bidding strategies that you can adopt when using Bing PPC, and the other one is we're going to talk about how to get cheaper clicks and how to reduce the costs of your clicks by doing certain things and using certain strategies, certain techniques that I've been using, which has been working very well, and you can use these in your campaigns. So the very first thing we're going to do is go to our test campaign again, and then we're just going to get the screen opened here so you can see all of these different columns. So at the moment we have our keywords, don't we, which we created in the last video. So we have all of these keywords here. So your keywords will be in here as well. You'll have a big list of keywords here as well, and you should have a lot more than what I've got here. Okay, as I said to you in the last video, I only chose a small number of keywords just for this example, just to keep things nice and simple. I didn't want pages and pages and pages of keywords, so I want to keep things nice and simple. But for you, when you create your very first campaign, I would recommend to have at least 500 keywords in your campaign. Now the reason why I say have at least 500 keywords, if you can't create 500 keywords for your campaign, then of course you can't create 500 keywords, just create as many as you can. But if you can create at least 500, that is good. That's a good start. The reason why you need that many, and I've tested lots of different things with Bing, some people advise you to go really tight and focus on, say, no more than 5 or 10 keywords. Some people say don't use broad match, use phrase and exact and things like that. There's different ways you can do things. Now I've been testing this, as you probably know, over a long time, and the way I found things to work the best was to just throw lots of different keywords at the wall and see what happens and see what it brings back. Okay, and then you go from there, because as I said to you in an earlier video, what you're doing at the moment, this is going to be your testing phase, and you need to obtain data from Bing. Okay, it's going to cost a little bit of money, but this is how paid traffic works. You spend a little bit of money initially to figure out the keywords that work well. Then you can focus on the ones that work well and throw away the rest. And this is what we're going to primarily get to. This is what we're going to get to. This is the end stage. But initially you need to just throw loads of keywords at the wall and basically see what sticks. So this is why I say use at least 500 keywords. Use broad, match, phrase and exact. So broad, phrase and exact match. Make sure you use all of those, and set your bids to a reasonable amount depending what market or niche you're in. But I usually stick to about $1.20, which is going to be around 80 pence here in the UK per click. That's not to say, now this is important to remember, that is not to say at all that you are going to pay 80 pence per click. That just means that is the most you're prepared to pay per click. Yeah, so you could end up still paying 10 pence or 10 cents a click. Just because it says 80, it does not mean that is what you're going to pay. In fact, I never ever pay 80 pence a click. Most of the keywords that I bid for, I end up paying for around 25 to 45 to 50 pence a click. Yeah, and that is even before I've optimized my campaigns. This will be at the early stages, so I reduce those by a lot more over the next couple of weeks. So I wanted to just make sure that you're fully aware that when I say 80 pence or say like $1, that is not to say that every click you generate will cost you that much. It may not. It depends how many people are bidding on that keyword, plus lots of other things that come into account as well. So anyway, let's not get too sidetracked. Let's go back to what I was talking about. So your actual strategies and everything that you're going to be using with these keywords. So initially, you want to get about 500 keywords, paste them in here, broad match, phrase match, and exact. And then what you want to do is activate your campaign. Okay, once everything is in place and you've got your landing page or your sales page in place. One thing I will say is that I would recommend for you to use some type of a landing page, yeah, rather than send people direct to a sales page. You can do that, but to make things a lot easier and a lot more profitable and effective for you, I would recommend sending people to some type of an opt-in page first. It could be any type of opt-in page, but you want to try and get their information first, you know, their name and email, and that's the best way to do it. But it is up to you. You may have some other ideas, and that's cool. So about 500 keywords, and then phrase, broad, and exact. Set your campaign live, you know, make it go live, and then just watch and see what happens. What you will see happen is it may take a day or so for things to really kick off. Okay, obviously once your ad is approved, after that, it then may take another 24 hours or so for your impressions to really start to build up. Yeah, things can take quite a few hours before you start to get maximum impressions and you start seeing some clicks. So this is what I do, and by keeping things broad match, you will rank. Well, I say rank. You will appear in Bing for lots of different keywords related to your keywords here. You know, they could be closely related. They could be they could have this actual word in the term that somebody searches for. It could be the exact term. So there's going to be lots of different keywords that you're going to come up for in Bing when somebody searches. Yeah, and this is why I say do all three: phrase, broad, and exact. This is the best way, and you just, as I said, just throw loads of keywords at the wall, and then within about 3 to 4 days time, see what sticks, and you look back and see which keywords are performing the best, and then you can make adjustments based on that. And this is what I'm now going to talk about. So within a couple of days, within 2 to 3 days, what's going to happen is you're going to have some numbers. Okay, you're going to have some impressions come up, you're going to have some clicks come up on certain keywords. You know, as long as your ad is half decent, as long as you've got a good enough ad in there. And what you then need to do is look at where your clicks come from. Okay, which keywords your clicks come from. And you know, you obviously look at the keywords down here, and you need to look at how much you're paying per click. Okay, you got to look at your click-through rate, your average cost per click, you know, how much you spend and all of that. But don't get too hung up on these stats initially for the first couple of days, because as I said, it can take a good day or so for things to really get moving and for your data to really start coming in. In fact, I often have to leave my campaigns running for at least 2 to 3 days to get a good, accurate kind of amount of data come in. And that's why I say you can't always just run these for like 1 day. You know, you need to run them for at least 2 to 3 days to get some good data come in. And what's going to happen is you're going to get impressions, you're going to get clicks come in, and you're going to want to know what is working for you. So the way you do this, and this is a little tip, is you go over to dimensions. So once you've got some data in here, once you've got some good numbers in here, yeah, you've got plenty of clicks. I would say you need at least five clicks to come in before you can start to kind of do what I'm now going to show you. Otherwise, it's kind of a little bit pointless. So you need at least 5 clicks, and to get 5 clicks, you're going to probably have a few thousand impressions over lots of different keywords. Yeah, you might have 500 clicks. Okay, if your budget is high enough, you might have 50 clicks. You know, you might have 1,000 clicks. You might have 200 clicks. It depends on your budget. It depends how much you spend and the type of market and everything that you're in. So as I said, once you start to get some keywords, clicks appear, what you want to do is find out exactly where they are coming from. Now, this is the trick and this is the secret. Do not think that if you've had a click here, so say if I had a 1 here, yeah, and some impressions come up, and I may have even had an opt-in here, okay, and it's cost me a couple of dollars, that doesn't mean that that person has come from this keyword, from lose weight fast women. Yeah, this is just an example, as we said, like, you know, I chose all these keywords like as an example, but just say if I did get some clicks come in and they appeared on this top line here, that doesn't mean that this keyword is working well. And that's the secret. The reason why you can't just go by these keywords here is because it's not 100% accurate. These are just a guide to kind of tell you where that person or the actual keyword that person came from. Now I'm going to show you how to find out the exact search term that they came from, and this is really, really important information, and this is probably stuff that a lot of people don't even tell you. What you do is go over to dimensions, and you've got a little list here, drop down, and what you do, you go on search terms, leave it on search terms, and then click search. Of course nothing's going to come up here because this isn't an active campaign and I've had no clicks. But if we go back to the last page, this is what you need to do. Once you've had clicks come in for this keyword, you need to find out what search terms that they came from. So again, we'll go over to dimensions, and then if you leave this on search terms, there will be lots of data here, okay, lots of information here. It will show you the clicks and the CTR and average cost per click, you know, like it does in the other screen. But what it will also give you is this area here where it says search term. There'll be a list down here of the actual search term that somebody typed in to find your ad. Yeah, and that is pure gold. It does not matter about the keyword. The keyword is a little bit irrelevant. It will show you the keyword that they came through, but this is the important stuff. This is the important box or like column that you have to kind of focus on. Is when you start to get clicks, focus on the search term column. This is where you're going to actually find out and identify your real decent keywords that people are finding your people are opting into your website from, okay, or if they're just clicking your ad. Yeah, these are the ones that you want to be concerned with, not just the word keyword. Yeah, where it says keyword here, it's handy to know where they come from, you know, the general keyword that they came from, but to be honest, this is kind of irrelevant because the search term is what they actually type in the search bar on their PC, on their computer. So whether that's Google, whether that's Bing, whether that's Yahoo, you know, Search 123, any of these platforms. Obviously they're going to be searching in a Bing search engine box because we're obviously using Bing platform, so they're not going to come from Google. But this is important to know because a lot of people don't tell you this and they don't know. So you have to focus on this area here. And there's lots of other sort of things down here that you can use as well. So that is how you can identify your best keywords. So again, if we go back to the campaign section. Okay, so this is the main section. We'll go to test here. So we're back to our ad. So this is our ad group 1. So that's how you identify your best keywords. When it comes to trying to generate cheaper clicks, one of the best strategies that I've found is, and if we go to keywords here, what I've found is, as I said, you won't always pay 80 cents every time you get a click. A lot of the time it will be less. You know, whether you're bidding $2, $1, 50 cents, a lot of the time it will be a little bit less. But what I tend to do, if you want to reduce how much you spend per click, once you identify the keywords that are working well for your campaign, slowly reduce this amount. Yeah, don't do it straight away. Within a couple of days, reduce it, say by 5 cents or 5 pence, and then a couple of days later, reduce it by another 5, and just watch your impressions and watch your clicks. If you suddenly lose a lot of traffic, and you're really not getting your clicks anymore or your impressions, then obviously raise it again. But you have to constantly play with these numbers to try and, because what you're trying to do is generate the most amount of clicks and the most amount of impressions as you possibly can, but at the same time you're paying the least you possibly can. So that's what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to get the most amount of clicks and impressions as you can by paying the least as you possibly can. So the only way to do that is just constantly tweak your campaigns, tweak your bids for your particular keywords until you kind of get to a point where you're fairly happy. I mean, of course, if you think you're paying too much and you can't afford a certain amount, then of course you can pause it for that keyword or even ditch the keyword. So this is how you need to kind of look at your campaign. Look at what you can afford to pay and what you think a keyword is worth, and then you can decide based on the data that Bing gives you. And this is how you can reduce your clicks. Now there's lots of other things here to bear in mind: the cost per action and also the quality score. As I said in a previous video, the quality score is quite important because that tells you how relevant your ads are to your content that you give people on your website, where you send people to. And this is important because this will determine how cheap your clicks can become. Yeah, when you have a good click-through rate, a good quality score, then that is when you've got the best chances of getting cheap clicks. Yeah, don't always think that it's all to do with just your click-through rate or just your quality score. It's more of a combined of everything. Yeah, of everything together. So those are just a few tips to help you along your way when it comes to bidding and trying to generate the cheapest clicks possible for your campaigns. Now, one last tip I'm going to give you when it comes to your keywords is there's lots of different ways that you can set up your campaigns and your ad groups. As I've said before in a previous video, you can create one ginormous campaign, one campaign, and then just create one ginormous ad group like we've done here. Okay, so if we go to ad groups, so we're on ad groups, so we've just got ad group number 1. I've not changed this is just the default name that Bing gives your ad group. So ad group number 1, and within this ad group number 1 we have just one ad. Okay, and yes, you can create more ads to actually test different ads. I'll show you that in just a second. But your keywords here, you've got all these different keywords under this one ad group. Okay, one of the other ways to do it is to create tighter ad groups. So one ad group could just be maybe focusing on a few different keywords. So one ad group for say 5 keywords. Yeah, and this is how again you can reduce your cost per click even more, because the key is to have tighter ad groups and tighter ads so that your ad only appeals to a very small audience. Yeah, and this is how you can increase your click-through rate, increase your quality score, increase your cost per action, which is going to be cheaper for you to get subscribers or make sales from your website, and pay a lot less per click. So the key initially is to throw tons of keywords at the wall, as I said, to see what works, but then after that it's then time to optimize. Yeah, optimize your campaigns. As I said, go to the dimensions, go to the search term, see what works for you, and then you can look at what works and then take out things that don't work or that's costing you too much, or you're just not getting any impressions for, and then use what is already working, and then you can go down that route of optimizing your campaign and improving things from there. Now, one of the other things I was going to quickly show you was the ads. So if we go to ads, so we've got 10 ways to burn belly fat. Now, say if I wanted to create an additional ad to split test against this one, you just go to save and create another, and then it may not look like it's actually done anything, but this is now an additional ad. So I could just put test in here, test ad, just so we know that this is the test ad. And if we go to save, look what happens. Oh, okay, I've got to do this. Paul Nichols blog. If we go to save, this is just for like an example. Pause that. There you go. This is the test ad that I've just done. So all you need to do is go to ads, test and create another, save and create another, and then you can do that as many times as you want, and you can create lots of different ads, testing different headlines, different bodies and different text and stuff like that. Okay, so we're just going to delete this one because we don't need that. And that is pretty much what I've just shown you throughout the entire course. You are now well on your way to be able to get some good traffic from Bing. What I've shown you is a very, very, very good. Not only is it a good way, but it's a very fast way to generate traffic. Okay? That's now. I've just given you a crash course in Bing. Now it's taken me a very, very long time to learn everything I've learned with Bing, and what I've just shown you here, I've tried to condense it into a few short videos. Some of the videos went on for a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I've tried to give you as much information as I could for you to understand in the best possible way how to use Bing. And seriously, this is a brilliant platform, but my advice is to just jump in, use it, and you can learn as you go. But you can of course go back over these videos as many times as you want and listen to what I say and watch what I do, because it is very, very simple. After you've created a couple of campaigns and like you've played about some ad groups and keywords and stuff like that, and some of the tools I've given you, believe me, you will find it quite easy. It's not actually that difficult. The main part, when you initially set up your campaign, don't forget to do the UET tags and also the conversion tracking. Just make sure that you've got those set up, and make sure that the code is on your thank you page, and on your thank you page for the websites that you use. Basically, the page that people go to after they've took the action that you want them to do. So if you're tracking conversions on a squeeze page or a landing page, the page they go to after they've opted in. So it could be a one-time offer page, it could be a download page, or it could be a thank you page. Just giving people more information to say, look, check your email, blah 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 blah. So depending what page you've got, make sure you put your code on that page so that when they go through, you'll know that you get a conversion. And there is one more thing that I want to go through before I end this video, and that is very, very important, and that is to make sure that you create all of the pages that Bing needs you to create in order for your ads and your landing pages to meet their requirements. Things like a privacy policy and the terms of service. Okay, when it comes to using Bing, you do need to make sure that you have a privacy policy and a terms of service page on your website. Okay, this is very, very important. So if I can just get an example up, I'll show you exactly what I mean. So here you can see at the bottom of the page I've got terms and I've got a privacy. So the privacy here, look, you can actually Google these, and these will be completely free in Google, and terms as well. You can get these here. But that is very, very important. You must have those on each of your landing pages or your sales pages. You must have at least your privacy policy and your terms of service, otherwise your ads will not get approved. So make sure you've got those. Now that is the end of the course. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I hope you can now go out and use everything I've given you in the course to generate tons of traffic from Bing. And don't forget, if you would like to get tons more training from me, don't forget we have our membership site, paulnicholsmembership.com, where you can join for just $1, and we have tons more training in there to do with traffic, conversions, list building, and email marketing, sales funnels, product creation, and all of that. So feel free to check that site out as well. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you've really enjoyed these traffic videos. Talk to you soon.